Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight there's lots to negotiate about. So obviously on my videos that I've done today, I have done 2 videos today. Obviously this morning I did obviously give you the news on Chris Smalling. I've spoken with you about Bruno Fernandes, because don't forget Bruno Fernandes had revealed what had convinced him to sign for Manchester United, and it was reflecting on the attitude of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Also too, on my recent video, I give you obviously the breaking news on Harry Kane. Now Harry Kane to Manchester United in the summer is definitely on, but I'm still very sceptical that Manchester United will pay a record fee of £200 million for Harry Kane, because reiterate what I said before, there's much cheaper solutions that we can get, than Harry Kane. But, there is quite a few strikers on Manchester United's agenda. So, yeah, I've been keeping up to date as much as I can, what's been going on. So, I do believe, Manchester United need around 3 signings when the transfer window does reopen to become title contenders next season. Now, it is, good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making plans for the summer transfer window. I think Solskjaer, does want to make around 3 or 4 signings, when the transfer window does reopen. Because obviously he does want to address the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously he's revealed the areas where he wants to strengthen up. Solskjaer did say he wants to recommend the centre forward in. He also wants to recommend the right winger in. He's also in search for a midfielder, and I think he also wants to bring a centre half in, does Solskjaer and that. Obviously, our transfer budget has been revealed, like I've mentioned quite a lot of times. Solskjaer is going to be given around £150 million to spend. Now, obviously, the transfer budget will increase if Manchester United can also sell players. I think we're planning on selling around 5 or 6 players in the summer transfer window, because there's still problematic players at the football club. But yeah, Solskjaer, did say, didn't he, was it last week, that he insists that, we can exploit the transfer market. And he believes, we can get the right calibre players to the football club. Because obviously, a lot of teams are under financial pressure across the world due to the coronavirus crisis. So obviously, teams will have to offload some of their players to generate funds. To generate funds. But so far, Solskjaer's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at Manchester United, and he's recruited 5 players in, and he's spent around £220 million. And I've got to admire him, for the players, that he has recommended in so far. Solskjaer didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous windows, he has recommended 5 signings in. So you do know the players that are on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, Jadon Sancho, he's on our agenda. Jack Grealish, he's on our agenda. Bellingham from Birmingham, he's been on our agenda. Maddison, he's also been on our agenda. We're basically seeing James Maddison as an alternative to Jack Grealish. So yeah, there's been quite a few players on our agenda. We've identified 4 priority, signings. And if we was to sign, say, Sancho, Grealish, when the transfer window reopens, that's going to cost us nearly £200 million for them players. Put Jude Bellingham and also to Maddison into the equation, that had cost a total of £290 million for them 4 players. But I don't think, we will sign all them 4 players. But I think, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is looking very imminent. Jadon Sancho's recently come out and said, that he's not interested in making a move to Chelsea, because Chelsea have been in for Jadon Sancho, and so too have Liverpool. I don't think, Liverpool will sign Jadon Sancho unless, they sell one of their attacking trio in Salah, Firmino or Mane. If they did that, then maybe Liverpool could sign him, because then, he'd get given game time week in, week out at Liverpool. But I think, his preference is a move to Manchester United. And I think he's given the main explanation why he's interested in coming to Man United is because he's got a fantastic friendship with Marcus Rashford. Don't forget, Sancho and Rashford were recently playing on FIFA 20, so that did, fuel quite a lot of speculation up. But, I think, Jadon Sancho would go well alongside Rashford and Anthony Martial in our attacking line. Let's be honest, it would be one of the club's best attacking trios, you know, that I would have seen, you know, for quite a while. The best attacking trio I last saw, you know, is when we had Rooney, Tevez and Ronaldo, was it back in 2008 and 2009. But Sancho, you know, will definitely, you know, make a difference in the team, because Sancho is a player, you know, that can score goals. His runs on and off the ball are very, very good. And he's predominantly a right winger. And don't forget, Manchester United are in search for a right winger. Now, obviously, you know, like I said, he's going to cost us at least 100 million. But Man United will have to end up paying 120 million for Sancho. But either figure, you know, is going to make him our most expensive signing, and he's going to make him a record signing in the Premier League, and I think the most expensive British player in history. So we are going to put the vast majority of our £150 million on Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, you know, it says we're also willing to offer Sancho around £400,000 a week, so that's going to make him the best player at the club, as well as the most expensive signing. Maybe we've got a few options, you know, what number, you know, we could give Sancho, but I think probably Man United will give him the number 7 if he is to come into the football club, because we've got number 7 vacant at the moment, and like I said, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, but Sancho would fulfill our number 7 role really, really well, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And even, you know, reflecting on this coronavirus crisis, it doesn't convince, you know, Borussia Dortmund to lower their asking price. You know, they do remain ruthless over their valuation. But Borussia Dortmund did say if Jadon Sancho wants to leave, they will not step in his way. But I think he's wanted to leave for at least the last couple of months, because Sky in Germany, they reported out back in February, you know, that Jadon Sancho wanted to leave. He'd made this admission. Now, Dortmund have come to accept the fact, and Dortmund have got a few players on their agenda who could replace Jadon Sancho. They've got Ferran Torres on their agenda from Valencia. You know, they've got Jude Bellingham on their agenda from Birmingham. But Dortmund, you know how much of an imperative player that Sancho is. But, you know, they'll look at it from a financial point of view and they'll go, look, you know, we're going to make a huge, huge profit on the player, because they only paid £7 or £8 million in from Man City. You know, Sancho enjoyed 2 years with Man City, but he didn't get assured any first team opportunities, and that's why he left City to join Borussia Dortmund. He's now into his 3rd season with Dortmund, this Sancho. I think, got to say, he's been a revelation since his arrival in Germany. But there again, he was dropped in quite a few games earlier on in the season. Sancho's got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. There was reports, I think, coming out of the mainstream media last week saying that if we fail to get qualification for the Champions League, then, you know, Jadon Sancho will reject to move to Old Trafford. But obviously, you know, last year, that's the main explanation why we didn't get Jadon Sancho, is because we had no Champions League football to offer. Don't forget, there has been uncertainty over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future and stuff like that. There was reports earlier on this season saying, you know, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't be trusted with, you know, funds to spend. He cannot be trusted. But, you know, I think, like I mentioned, Solskjaer does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows. But Sancho's only the age of 20. And obviously he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. I think, you know, we've had the youngest squad in the Premier League this season. But I'd love, you know, Jadon Sancho to come to Manchester United. I think Borussia Dortmund didn't they recruit quite a few players in last year. Yes, they did, but they did lose Christian Pulisic to Chelsea. But yeah, I think Jadon Sancho is actually not going to be our first signing when the transfer window does reopen. You know, £120 million is a substantial amount, but especially for just a 20-year-old, it is a hell of a lot of money. But like I mentioned, we're known for overpaying for players anyway. You know, like I said, Paul Pogba, £89 million, Harry Maguire, £80 million, second most expensive signing at the club and most expensive centre-half in the world. Fred, £50 million, Pasaka, £45 million, Matic, £40 million. So yeah, we are known for overpaying for players, especially in recent years. But if Jadon Sancho, you know, was to come to Man United and replicate, you know, what he's done in the few years he's been with Dortmund, then, you know, he probably would be worth more than £120 million. If Sancho, say, for example, was maybe 28, 29, maybe then you could get him on the cheap. But there's been quite a few clubs that have expressed their interest in the player. Now, Jack Grealish, I've been reading some reports today about Jack Grealish, by the way. I've been reading reports about him, and Darren Bent has come out and said that Jack Grealish has got he's got options of 3 Premier League clubs. There is options. So Darren Bent believes that Jack Grealish will leave Villa and he'll either join Manchester United, Tottenham, if not Tottenham, Manchester City. But quite a few clubs have been in for Jack Grealish, and recently he did speculate out saying that Everton have expressed their interest in Jack Grealish. I think Villa will try to do everything they can to persuade him to remain loyal to them, but I just don't think they can. I think, Jack Grealish wants to leave. Even if Villa, were to avoid relegation, I don't think, that would be enough to convince Grealish to stay. Grealish, will cost us around 70 or 80 million pounds. It'll cost us around 70 or 80 million, but, if Villa were to get relegated, then possibly we could get Jack Grealish on the cheap. Don't forget Andy Gray came out last week, who is a former Villa player, like he updated you, and he said that Man United should sign Jack Grealish and sell Paul Pogba. Maybe, our move for Jack Grealish hinges on, the sale of Pogba. So if we can sell Paul Pogba, then we can get Jack Grealish on the board. Obviously, last week, was it, or the other week, was it a couple of weeks ago now? I think it was last week, if I'm right. Don't forget, there was reports saying that, Jack Grealish to Man United could be off in the summer. Reflecting on, the incident with his not BMW, Range Rover, reflects on the incident with his Range Rover, because don't forget he'd crashed his £80,000 Range Rover. But, Jack Grealish is one of our priority targets for the summer transfer window. Like I said, he's remained loyal to Aston Villa for several years. He's been a Villa player since the age of 6. He's been in their senior squad since 2014. And since then, he's become an integral part of Aston Villa's team as Jack Grealish. And I've got to say, he has flourished under Dean Smith's guidance. He was key to Villa getting promotion to the Premier League. He was key to them getting to the final this season. Carabao Cup final, that is. And he's still got around 3 years left on his contract as Jack Grealish. He's under contract with Villa until 2023. So he's got an option of 3 clubs, according to Darren Bent and that. But some people believe that Jack Grealish's valuation, will continue to, go up persistently. But I think Grealish will follow the footsteps of Milner and Gareth Barry, because they're also former Aston Villa players. But don't forget, back in the summer of 2018, Tottenham were very, very close to getting Jack Grealish, I think, for around £25 million. But, the deal never materialised. But, yeah, I think Jack Grealish, will leave Aston Villa. But hopefully, Manchester United can get him in, because we're looking for someone to go alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. Yes, we are in that. Obviously, Jude Bellingham now, like I said to you, he's another player on our agenda. Obviously, quite a few weeks ago now, I think this was this before all the football got suspended, if I'm right? Don't forget, Jude Bellingham had visited our Carrington training ground to hold talks with Sir Alex Ferguson. And also to his parents had negotiations with Ed Woodward and that. And Jude Bellingham, give his verdict on, his visit to the Carrington training ground. And he said, it was very, very good. I don't know if Man United are going to sign Jude Bellingham when the transfer window reopens. It said before that Borussia Dortmund had been emerged as the favourites. There was narrative saying that Liverpool have been in for him. Chelsea have been in for Jude Bellingham. I don't think he's at the elite level as yet, Jude Bellingham. I don't think he's Premier League standard. I think he needs at least another season in the Championship to gain more experience, because he's inexperienced at the moment. Bellingham is only at the age of 16. But, Bellingham's played persistently this season for Birmingham, persistently. He's played around 30 odd games this season in the Championship as Jude Bellingham. Became the youngest player ever to represent Birmingham, made his senior debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. I think it was that year. And he's expected to sign his professional contract in the summer when he does turn the age of 17, because Bellingham's salary at the moment is around £145 a week. But Bellingham, will cost in the excess of around 30 million. Well, maybe more than 30 million. I think they want in the 30 odd million pound range do Birmingham. But some players that come from the Championship, who go to the Premier League, sometimes tend to do well. So let's just put that into the equation. So yeah, so that's another player that's been on Manchester United's agenda. Now, I just want to give you some news on Oddo Nagala. I'm going to put this on the title of my video as well. Do you think Oddo Nagala's career with Manchester United is over? Do you think his career with Man United's over? Now, it's not assured that Man United are going to get Oddo Nagala on a permanent transfer. It's not assured. Solskjaer, did make the admission, was it quite a few weeks ago now, and he said, it's very, very likely that Man United will get Oddo Nagala on a permanent transfer, and it has been revealed how much Oddo Nagala will cost us if we are to get him permanently. It will cost us around £15 million. So he's a cheap solution, is Oddo Nagala. He's a cheap solution, but is he 30 or 31 years of age? But if Oddo Nagala had been, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 years younger, then probably would cost a lot more than £15 million. But maybe, we won't get Oddo Nagala on a permanent transfer. We have got him on loan at the moment. I think we paid, was it around £4 million to get him on loan, and we're now paying a third of his wages. But Ighalo revealed the other week, that he wants to stay at Manchester United. And he even did say he was willing to take a pay cut. So whether we get him permanently or not, I do not know. But Ighalo's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. He has, 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club. I think he's a very, very good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. He's an option of a different type of centre-forward. And I've got to credit him because I think his hold-up play is very, very good. Is Oddo Nagala's. His parent club, Shanghai Shenhua, the other week, they'd come out and offered Oddo Nagala £400,000 a week. £400,000 a week. They'd offered him, plus a 2-year contract extension to convince him, to turn down a permanent move to Manchester United. But, maybe we won't get him permanently, because obviously, we're in for Haaland, we're now in for Harry Kane and that. So, obviously, with our links to Haaland and Harry Kane, is it, delaying, us getting Oddo Nagala on a permanent transfer? Probably, we could decide to, extend his loan until the 30th of June due to the coronavirus pandemic. His current loan spell with Man United, Oddo Nagala's, ends on the 31st of May. So, do you think his career is over with Man United? Possibly Ighalo, if he doesn't stay here permanently, maybe he could continue applying his trade in the Premier League, because maybe he could go to Chelsea, maybe he could go to Man City, or he may go to the La Liga and maybe go to Madrid or Barcelona. But there's options for him. But yeah, so that's basically the latest news on Oddo Nagala. But yeah, definitely Man United need a striker. I know we have got good attacking players. Like I said, Rashford was one of our best players earlier on in the season, before he got injured. Rashford has been out with a back injury since our win against Wolves in the FA Cup. That's when his injury occurred, but Solskjaer made the wrong decision by playing Rashford in that game against Wolves. But Rashford sustained quite a few injuries anyway as a Manchester United player. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016, and since then he's become an integral part of our team. So up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with the club. Like I said, he's endured some difficult spells, but Rashford, has over 60-odd goals in 60-odd senior goals in, over 200-odd appearances for Man United. But when the season does eventually resume, Rashford, should be back in action. Rashford can play as a number 9. He can also play out wide. I think Solskjaer does prefer Rashford out wide, to be quite honest with you. Like I said with Anthony Martial, I've been critical of Anthony Martial before, but I've got to be honest with you. I think before the season that got suspended, he did rejuvenate himself, did Anthony Martial, and I thought he was doing really, really well. I think Martial's scored 16 or is it 17 goals this season for the football club, so he's been in a very, very good vein of form. I just think basically we need to find Anthony Martial a permanent position. In his 4 previous seasons prior to this season, he was playing out wide on the left hand side, but this season Anthony Martial has been playing in that number 9 role, so he has been playing centrally in that as wait there a minute. He has been playing centrally as Anthony Martial. But yeah, I've got to say I've been very, very impressed with his performances, and I do believe that, you know, he is the long-term solution for Manchester United and that. But yes, but there's been a few strikers on our agenda, like I mentioned. You know, we've had Erling Haaland on our agenda. Timo Werner's been on our agenda. I gave you the news about him today, didn't I? But you know, just think about, you know, Timo Werner, Erling Haaland. They're much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. But so, I think if we got Harry Kane, it'd be very, very good, because I think he'd be a great addition to the squad. But I just think £200 million is far too much. Because if we pay 200 million for Kane, that would, you know, make him the joint most expensive player in the world, because the most expensive player in the world at this moment in time is Neymar. PSG, of course, paid £200 million for Neymar from Barcelona and that. But yeah, so like I said, so, you know, we can, you know, get the right number of players in, and we can get the right calibre players in when the transfer window reopens. I think Manchester United honestly can challenge for the title next season. I'm not going to assure that we will. I'm not going to say that we're going to win the title next season, but I definitely think we can challenge, and we can enjoy a better season next season than what we've enjoyed this season. You know, I can definitely, you know, put that into the equation. But, you know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, and that is now 7 years ago. You know, the last time we won it, you know, was in Alex Ferguson's last season. Yes, it was back in 2013 and that. So I think, you know, within the next 2 to 3 years, you know, maybe, you know, Manchester United can win the Premier League. Obviously, you know, don't forget, you know, we are one of the biggest clubs in the world with a fantastic history and a fantastic fan base, and we are the most successful team in England, you know, because we do have 20 titles, 13 of them Premier League titles and that. But some people are still very, very sceptical, you know, that we are going to get our 21st title under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, if obviously, you know, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't to succeed at Manchester United, if he isn't to succeed, you know, who do you think, you know, would be the right manager to replace him? Now, obviously, you know, I think if Solskjaer gets sacked, I think, you know, Pochettino will be the favourite to take over, because don't forget, earlier on in the season, you know, Mauricio Pochettino was relentlessly, you know, linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. It also said as well that Mauricio Pochettino had negotiations with the football club and stuff like that, and he was basically, you know, coming out saying that, you know, he wanted to take control of the transfers if he was to come in, and he didn't want Ed Woodward at the football club. But obviously, you know, revert back to when we sacked Jose Mourinho in December 2018. We, you know, was relentlessly linked with Pochettino. He was our primary candidate, and he was looking likely, you know, he was going to come in. But we decided, you know, to go with Solskjaer. So our preference was Solskjaer over Pochettino. And the main explanations for that is because Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. You know, we paid, was it $1 million or two, couple of million, I think it was, to get him in on an interim basis. And plus, you know, Solskjaer knows the traditions and that of the club, because, you know, he enjoyed 11 years at Manchester United as a player. So he obviously knows more about the club than Pochettino. So they're the couple of reasons why we went with Solskjaer. Plus, Solskjaer did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. So, you know, that's why, obviously, you know, he got the job permanently. But, you know, Pochettino, you know, has been out of, you know, management now for a while. Don't forget, he was sacked from Tottenham last year. And obviously, you know, he gave his verdict on that. And he actually said, you know, that he wanted an immediate return to management. Pochettino's not in management as yet. If Pochettino, when he does go back into management, I think it probably, you know, will happen at the end of the season. Because if he was to get another job before the end of the season, then, you know, they'd have to, I think Tottenham then would be entitled to like £10 million in compensation. But, you know, Pochettino enjoyed 5.5 years with Tottenham, didn't he? Enjoyed 5.5 years with Tottenham. Obviously, you know, analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. They were competing in and out of the top four, were Tottenham. But I think, was it one season or was it 2 seasons, you know, Tottenham did become title contenders. Of course, Pochettino did recruit quite a few players in. But you've got to admire what Pochettino did at Tottenham, because I thought he did really, really well, to be quite honest. You know, he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last season. Pochettino has managed 3 clubs in his managerial career. He began his managerial career with Espanyol. Then obviously, you know, he went to Southampton. He had a short tenure with Southampton, but he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish. And obviously, enjoyed 5.5 years with Tottenham, did Mauricio Pochettino. But it said earlier on this season he was interested, in taking over at Manchester United. Also, too, there was a lot of talks about Massimiliano Allegri earlier on this season coming to replace Solskjaer at Man United. Obviously, Massimiliano Allegri has been managerless since last summer when he did resign as Juventus manager. Massimiliano Allegri endured 5 years with Juventus, didn't he? Won quite a few trophies with them. I think he won 4 Coppa Italians or 4 Series, something like that. And he did guide Juventus to 2 Champions League finals. Actually, Massimiliano Allegri spent the vast majority of his, I think the entirety of his managerial career in Italy. He also spent the entirety of his playing career in Italy. So it said earlier on in the season he was learning English in preparation for his potential move. But there was talks about him going to a few clubs, Massimiliano Allegri. So this is just if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't succeed, who do you think, should come in? That's what I'm basically saying to you. But anyway, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be given another season at the football club. Like I mentioned, it is a transition period, and like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But Solskjaer knows if he's given another season at the club that, he has got many expectations to exceed. But he's been here now for 16 months. He has been at the football club over a year. But Solskjaer has been permanent Manchester United manager now for 12 months. Yes, he's been permanent Manchester United manager now for 12 months. But like I said to you, I think he does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows. At least a couple of more transfer windows he does deserve. Because like I said, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, because taking into account there's only 5 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's that he has recruited in so far. And taking into account, Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of Jose Mourinho's players. Like I said to Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the football club. Obviously, spent, 400 million or just under 400 million pounds on them. But I give you the main explanations why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho. But Jose Mourinho did win 2 trophies in his first season with the football club. There's still a couple of players here from the Van Gaal era. By the way, I think, Louis Van Gaal, Van Gaal lasted 2 years at Manchester United. He, recruited a lot of players in, but I think he must have sold, I think he sold over 20 players, did Louis Van Gaal and that, because there was still quite a few players from the Ferguson era at that point there under Louis Van Gaal era. But, he did sell quite a lot of players, but we did win the FA Cup under the Louis Van Gaal era. So I think there's only like Martial and Shaw here now, is it from the Van Gaal era? There's still Matter here from the David Moyes era. Obviously, we didn't win anything in terms of silverware under David Moyes. David Moyes only endured, 8 and 9 months at the football club. But, Ferguson was at fault, for ever recommending David Moyes in. The main explanation why I recommended David Moyes in is, reflecting on, what he did at Everton. He didn't win out in terms of silverware at Everton, but he did really, really well at Everton. And plus, there was both Scottish and that. So, yeah. So we have recruited over 30-odd players in, since the Alex Ferguson era, and spent close to the £1 billion range on recruiting new players in. So a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. But, can Solskjaer, follow Alex Ferguson's method and, build another great Manchester United team? Because, we had a fantastic team under the Alex Ferguson era. Don't forget, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years, when he first came to the football club. And don't forget, he was under pressure, and there was talks of Alex Ferguson getting sacked at that point, don't forget. But he didn't, and then look what he went and accomplished, Alex Ferguson. One of the greatest managers of all time. Ferguson endured 26, 27 years at Man United. Jurgen Klopp, he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. Like I mentioned, but some managers get the time that they demand, and some managers don't get the time, that they want, to be quite honest with you. But, we will see how it plans out going on into next season. We will see how it plans out, and, we have got quite a few ambitions. Like I said, we can win some silverware this season when it does resume under Solskjaer, because we are into the last 8 of the Europa League. We're also into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup for the sixth season on the trot, by the way, which is very, very good. We can, we can even finish fourth in the Premier League. We're fifth at the moment, but fifth place is a Champions League spot. Reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons, but as you all know, City have appealed against that decision. I don't know how long it will take for this, to process, to be quite honest with you. But we need Champions League qualification for next season, because I think it did say before that we've failed to qualify for the Champions League, like, is it 3 times out of the past 5 or 6 seasons? But, yeah, so I think we can definitely get qualification for the Champions League. Obviously, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, so that's also a positive. A lot of players have left since his arrival. Like I said, we're going to get rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer. I think Jones is on his way out. I think Lingard's on his way out. Andres Pereira's on his way out because they are 2 liabilities. I also think that we could get rid of Smalling on a permanent transfer, but like I said to you today, he said that Smalling could be heading back to Man United because Roma have got financial difficulties and that, so they may not be able to get Chris Smalling permanently. I think we'll get rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. So yeah, so we're going to get rid of quite a few players in the summer. I think Solskjaer knows promoted the youth very, very well because the young players have been given their opportunities this season, which I'm very, very happy about. Greenwood's done well, Williams has done well. Reflecting on the emergence of Williams, we're no longer in for a left back. Tuanzebe did well earlier on in the season, before he was injured, of course. Also too, Dalot, I don't really have a perception on Dalot, to be quite honest, because Dalot has had a few injuries this season. He is a backup to Bissaka. So we've got a lot of good young players in the squad. We've also extended quite a lot of players' contracts since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer come in as well. So that's also a positive, But I just want, the football season to resume. I really, really do, and that. I really, really do. But I think we can get 3 signings in the summer. I think we can definitely challenge for the title going on into next season without a shadow of a doubt. Manchester United can do that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, like, explore on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.